Hello everyone, welcome to Discover This. Today I thought we'd go around Palm Springs and take a little tour of some of the homes of the famous authors who've lived and worked here over the years. So let's get started. So first up is the home of Truman Capote. Now he wintered out here for many years, bought a home out here. So let's go see it. So Truman Capote wintered here in Palm Springs, and he owned this house, 853 Paseo El Mirador. It was where he lived and threw a number of parties. I mean, if these walls could talk, or even if the yard could talk. Now he did work on his novel Answered Prayers here at this house. But he never finished it before he died. And in fact, only 4 chapters were released to Esquire magazine in 1975 and 1976. His longtime maid and confidant at this house, Myrtle Bennett, died, and he was devastated by her death. In fact, he had helped her open her own house cleaning business called Myrtle Bennett and Associates Palm Springs Cleaning Services. And Truman Capote did a number of interviews at this house for different magazines and newspapers and things. So there's a number of photos of him inside and outside in the garden, and there's also a picture of him riding his bike out front here of this house. So Truman Capote would have been right about in here on the photo. You can see his driveway just sort of in front and behind the bike and his mailbox. The landscaping's changed, and trees have changed a little bit, but it would have been right in here on this road. So while living here, Truman Capote did a lot of charity functions as well. You know, there's a picture of him here at the Sunnylands Estate out in Rancho Mirage with the Annenbergs, and also at a Bob Hope function at the Riviera, which is not too far away from here, this house. But on August 25th, 1984, Truman Capote died at the Bel Air home of his close friend, Joanna Carson, Johnny Carson's ex-wife. And she originally had kept his cremains. However, he's now interred at the Westwood Memorial Park in Los Angeles. And Truman Capote got his star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. Right here at South Palm Canyon and Tequeets, at the Wellwood Murray Library building, which is the visitor center. So enough of the Truman Capote business. So next up we're going to go see the homes of Herman Wouk. Now Herman Wouk, for many years, lived here at 303 West Crestview. And this house, it's about an acre and a half of property, and there's 2 houses, actually I guess a main house and a guest house. But the previous owner of this property was Robert Wagner, who owned it for a long time. But Herman Wouk bought it and then lived here for many years, and then in 2018 Herman Wouk decided to downsize and move to a smaller place. As you can see, it actually has 2 addresses. Herman Wouk wrote his book, Sailor and Fiddle, here at this house before moving to a different place in 2018. So Herman Wouk moved here inside this gated community, this Four Seasons community, and the address inside is 3763 Serenity Trail, and this is where he lived and worked, and this is where he passed away in his sleep on May 17th, 2019. He was 103 years old, and Herman Wouk is laid to rest back east in Elmont, New York. Okay, and next up is Harold Robbins. And man, he sure lived his life like some of the characters he wrote about. Now, Harold Robbins rented this house from 1985 to 1992. And then he ended up divorcing his wife. And he moved around the corner a couple blocks. But Robbins was famous for writing The Carpetbaggers, The Betsy, The Adventurers, The Dream Merchants, and a number of other books. This was his home for a few years. And it's almost at the corner of that curve up there is Via Lola, and this street is Potencio, so 990 Potencio in Palm Springs. Now, Harold Robbins would spend time on the French Riviera and Monte Carlo, but he would always come back to Palm Springs. And this is one of his favorite restaurants, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. But it's at the very west end of Tequit's Canyon. It's actually 385 Tequit's Canyon. But Harold Robbins would eat here very often when he wasn't jet setting. So we are here at Monte Vista and Camino Sur in Palm Springs, and 601 Camino Sur is where Harold Robbins moved after he divorced his wife, and he ended up marrying his assistant. But Harold Robbins was he was basically a rock star who didn't make music, he wrote books, but he lived his life like a rock star, jetting all over the world and lots of parties and always in the right place at the right time kind of thing. So he ended up dying from heart failure here in Palm Springs on October 14th, 1997. And we've come here to Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Cathedral City to pay our respects to Harold Robbins. And Harold Robbins is laid to rest in the Mission San Luis Rey Mausoleum. And last but not least, we have Anne Rice. So Anne Rice lived in Rancho Mirage, California, just east of Palm Springs, for a number of years. She lived at 70305 Thunderbird Road in the Thunderbird Heights section of Rancho Mirage. Another gated community, so we ain't getting in. But she worked on her last 3 books here at this house. Those books were Christ the Lord, The Road to Cana, Angel Time, and she wrote a spiritual memoir that was called Out of Darkness. She also did a number of book signings and tours, and Palm Springs was no exception. She would do signings at different bookstores around Palm Springs also. So in December of 2021, Anne Rice suffered a stroke at her house, and she was brought here to Eisenhower Medical Center, the hospital here in Rancho Mirage. And on December 11th, 2021, Anne Rice passed away here at this hospital facility. Now she's buried in New Orleans in her family crypt, and I believe there's been some people have gone out there, and there's video out there of her crypt, and it's I believe Steve from the Graveyard Channel is one, and also I think Grim Life Collective, if you look at their channel, they have a video of Anne Rice's crypt. So that's going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed our little tour of famous authors' homes in the Palm Springs area. This is part 1. There'll be a part 2 somewhere down the line. There's many more authors, famous authors, have lived here and worked here and written many of the books that you're very familiar with here. So we'll go check those homes out another time. I thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing, and we will see you next time on Discover This.